Hey, shalom, shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praise, honor, and glory unto Yahweh by Hashem, Yahweh Shai by Hashem, Rakah HaKodash. Double honors to the apostles, the bishops, and elders of Great Millstone who rule and teach well, and peace and salutation unto the hopeful elect. This is the brother Bakwasha, and I just want to go into more of Satan's devices as we see the downfall of Babylon, aka America. Esau, the so-called white man, is going all digital and all artificial. And the devices that have been promoted and pushed all throughout the globe are really just means and methods for Esau, the so-called white man, to track and to monitor and really to continue to do analysis on so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, okay? Israelites of the Bible. And so just wanted to make brothers aware, to bring some type of, I would say, knowledge base to some of the devices in which we already have. Obviously, our cellular devices already do tracking and monitoring, and some of that can be disabled. But I wanted to go into Airpods, and these Airpods really are reading not only our thoughts, but also the emotions that come with being in captivity here in Babylon, aka America. And so I just want to cover this through the Spirit, and Lord will, it'll be edifying for the elect. Let's start here in Psalms, the 37th chapter and verse 7. It says, "Rest in the Lord, Yahweh Shem Shai, and wait patiently for him. Fret not thyself because of him who prospereth in his way, because of the man who bringeth wicked devices to pass." Okay, and that's Esau, the so-called white man, all day. And when you go into that word here, wicked devices.
Strong's H 4209. Mezimah.
It says purpose, discretion, devices for evil or for bad times, because these Airpods, Esau didn't make mention when he advertised what they could do that, oh yeah, by the way, they're going to actually monitor your brainwave systems, your alpha waves, your beta waves, your theta waves, right? To where now your intellectual property, because we are property of Yahweh Shem Shai, okay, because we were bought with a price. Now Esau, the so-called white man, is deceiving, okay, by, as scripture says, a gift destroying the heart, which is, oh, these AirPods, they don't have wires on them anymore. And, it's more convenient. It looks cool. When all of that's just a lie. It's just another mean and method for Esau to now get into the mind, okay, of people, but more specifically, looking to deceive the very elect. Okay, which is not possible pursuant to the book of Romans. Okay, so what's the point? The point here is these are just more wicked devices that Esau has caused to pass. But if brothers are not aware of it, you may think that, oh yeah, this is just, a hip way to wear technology and, use it, which there's nothing wrong with that, but just understanding what's behind this technology. Okay. So let's start here, and I got a handful of articles. Might not finish all of them, may just leave them in the description box. It says, Apple has filed patent applications for AirPods equipped with electrodes designed to monitor brain activity, EEG, eye movement, EOG, and muscle activity, EMG. This is just from the Airpods. Brain activity, eye movement, and muscle activity. But none of this has been promoted as a selling point for the Airpods. They just get people so enthralled with the technology that they're completely blinded, or the gift has now destroyed the heart or the mind to say, well, hold on. Why do we need Airpods when we can use speakerphone or we can plug it into the phone? Okay, it says, using, for example, this patent from Google Patents, the technology aims to measure neural signals for health tracking and potentially controlling devices with AI selecting the best sensors for individual ear anatomy. Now, essentially, this is Esau, the so-called white man, trying to sit in the seat of Yahweh Shem Yahushai and play God, because he now wants to dictate through his technology what is appropriate for people, when Yahweh Shem Yahushai has already designed us in the way in which we are supposed to be designed. If a person doesn't have hearing or sight or whatever the case may be, it's because that's the will of Yahweh Shem Yahushai. Okay? But just wanted to, like I said, go into this so brothers can kind of see what some of these devices look like. But let me see if I can play this real quick.
Will we one day be able to just pop in our AirPods and send a text message with our thoughts? Well, according to Apple, yeah, that's the plan. This is a patent Apple filed for all the way back in January of 2023. AirPods with electrodes on them that can read brain activity. So in other words, an EEG, but it's through the ear. This is actually the direction that a lot of smartphone companies and tech companies are moving towards. Wearable brain-computer interfaces. Whether it's a wristband or earpiece or some glasses, that's the pipeline. Of course, privacy gets crazy here because what's more intimate than your literal thoughts?
Right. And at no given point is that been disclosed or even mentioned. Like you got YouTubers bringing out information that the company in itself wasn't even going to share. That's called deception. That's deceiving. Okay.
But there's actually already a lot of great existing literature on.
All right. So she's out of there. All right. So let's bring out this next part. And then, like I said, we'll get to some articles. This is another quick Google search. It says, yes, put in here app AirPods mind reading patent. It says, yes, Apple has patented AirPods with built-in electrodes for brainwave EEG sensing, allowing them to potentially monitor neural signals for health, focus, and device interaction. And so what is all this necessary for? It's not going to improve people's health. Like there's no, and unless all of these things are leading to what? The MO to the T to the B. But see, these Babylonians don't see any of this. They think it's cool. They think it's fresh. But these are, as scripture says, let me grab that real quick. These are those lying wonders, man, that Esau continues to push on people. This is 2 Thessalonians 2:8. And then shall that wicked be revealed, whom the Lord shall consume with the spirit of his mouth, and shall destroy with the brightness of his coming, even him whose coming is after the working of Satan. Okay? To deceive, to be an adversary against Yahweh Shem Yahushai, with all power and signs and lying wonders. Okay? And Esau's technology gives him the appearance of a quote unquote God, because people say, oh man, well look, I could do this with my brain now. I don't even have to touch a device anymore. Oh man, look, the blind can see, right? The deaf can hear. When all of those things are the will of Yahweh Shem Yahushai, whether it be judgment or whether it be to fulfill a prophecy, man. It says, though this raises significant privacy concerns and is distinct from mind reading. No, it ain't. And here's the thing, like none of this has been talked about. Like privacy in itself is out the window. There's no such thing as that any longer. Okay. It says the technology described in patents like biosignal sensing device using dynamic selection of electrodes, uses sensors in the ear tips and stems to capture brain activity, aiming to create a less cumbersome biosensor device for monitoring health metrics like sleep, stress, sleep, and even potential seizures. And all of this is under the guise of that Esau is looking to do something favorable for people. When he's the one that created all of the madness, the noise pollution, and the food that causes people to have seizures. Okay? Or stress from working here in the slave factories. Okay? Or loss of sleep. Because this, as scripture says, man, let's bring this out real quick. Bro, this is saying this is not our rest, man. Okay? This is Micah chapter 2, verse 10. Arise ye and depart, for this is not your rest, because it is polluted. Okay? The whole planet is polluted with Esau's filth. It shall destroy you, even with the sword destruction, man. Okay? So yeah. There's no privacy concerns. Okay? Because Esau doesn't care about privacy. Okay? He's full blast on destroying the economy and pushing people into this digital technology. Okay? Which is ultimately the charagma. All right? All right, one more thing here, and then, like I said, we'll get into some quick articles. Matter of fact, let's bring this out real quick. This is Ecclesiastes chapter 7, verse 7. Surely oppression maketh the wise man mad, and a gift destroyeth the heart. Because why? These people are now infatuated with anything that has APP-LE on it, to where now that's a part of their life. So now they've it's almost an addiction that Esau has created, because now once you get the device in itself, you have to get each of the new features of the device that are compatible with the current device. And then every year, okay, Esau enhances their surveillance, and now that old model is outdated. Doesn't work as fast, doesn't work as well, glitchy, when all of that's a part of the programming. Okay? It says, yes, Apple has patented AirPods with built-in. Did I read this one? Yep. Con. All right. So let's bring out just a handful of things that brothers can kind of go into and check out on your own. This is called Ear EEG. Is a method for measuring dynamics of brain activity through the minute voltages or voltage changes observable on the skin, typically by placing electrodes on the scalp. And so I had a if you want to call it a chat, I had a chat with Chat GPT, and it tried to convince me that this technology wasn't even out. And so I had to go in on Chat GPT, but that's not the point. The point is all of these things have been done and are now a part of the working systems. Okay. And you can best believe that all of these devices are tied to each device. That's why, the 5G, the 6G, all of that stuff is all a part of this whole deconstruction of the analog world and the construction of the digital world. Okay, going into now limiting any options that may be present, or as scripture says, no man can buy or sell save he that have the mark. Okay, so now all of the things that were once accessible through analog forms, meaning technology wasn't necessary, all of those things now Esau is making digital or some form of technology to where he can track and monitor and trace it. Okay, so what's this one? So this is from the National Library of Medicine. Okay, and I'm just gonna read maybe one or 2 points here. Let me see here. Salakia. Introduction, conclusion. Let's go conflict of interest. None declarable. Esau is the devil. Let's go materials and methods. I'm just kind of scanning it here a little bit, because there's another one that I wanted to bring out as well. Let's just read the introduction. It says, over the past decades, non-invasive brain activity recording with electroencephalography, functional magnetic resonance, and other techniques increased our knowledge of the brain behavior relationship. A disadvantage is that natural behavior is eliminated to a large extent in well controlled laboratory settings due to motion intolerance of these non-invasive recording procedures. Esau's getting all super duper wordy now. Recent developments in mobile EEG, however, promise the monitoring of brain activity during natural behaviors outside the laboratory environment. So essentially, Esau wants to be able to monitor when someone is moving mobily versus if they're just stationary listening to music. Okay. Okay, yeah. I should have just read this from the top. EEG allows the study of the brain behavior relationships in humans. Most of what we have learned with EEG was through observing the brain behavior relationship under well-controlled laboratory conditions. However, by reducing normal behavior to a minimum, the ecological validity of the results can be limited. Recent developments towards mobile EEG solutions allowed to study the brain behavior relationship outside the laboratory in more natural situations. Besides mobility and robustness with respect to motion, mobile EEG systems should also interfere as little as possible with the participant's behavior. For an example, natural interaction with other people could be hindered when it is obvious that a participant wears an EEG cap. This study evaluates the signal quality obtained within an unobtrusive solution for EEG monitoring through the integration of miniaturized EEG ton electrodes in both a discrete baseball cap and an individual earpiece. So basically they're saying that if you have on the EEG hat and the AirPods, right, they saw that there was a difference in the quality of the feedback. Okay, so let's play one more, couple more, and then we'll
Mental performance is becoming measurable. Daily brain scores could be the new step count, and the companies decoding the mind will help shape the future of health. Brainwaves are the
and they have these influencers and YouTubers just doing all of these, doing the heavy lifting for them. Now pushing the propaganda because they don't know any different. They think it's cool because they've been born into a world where technology is all they know. Whereas, brothers that were born, well before technology realize that all of this is being forced down, people's throats from the very beginning. But now it's going to be something that people desire, and ultimately it's going to lead to the charagma, man.
next biometric. Let's break it down. As wearables get smarter, brain data is becoming personal and actionable. The latest tech, Atlas raised $14 million to launch a behind-the-ear sensor that decodes brain signals in real time.
So, once again, why would you want all of that? And these Babylonians do it because they now want to read all of the Fitbit watches and all that kind of stuff. It's so subtle, but over the course of time, it's just destroying people's memory. And then now that's data that Esau is selling on the open market. And Lord will, I'll do another lesson that goes into that as well. Okay, but I'll leave these links in the description box. I didn't get a chance to listen to all of this one, so let's see if we can just speed this one up a little bit.
Now read your brain. That sounds like a line straight out of a sci-fi movie. But here we are in 2026. It's real. It's hitting the market right now. Companies at major tech shows like CES 2026 are unveiling products. They look and feel like the premium headphones you already know, but with a powerful new ability. They can listen to the electrical signals your brain produces, giving you a window into your own mind in real time. It's a huge leap forward, happening faster than expected.
So, what is the leap forward? What is this now going to do? Aside from now, there's a database that's literally monitoring everything that you say and do and think. Okay? Shit's wicked, man.
This breakthrough is about making advanced neuroscience accessible. For years, brain-computer interfaces were confined to medical labs and research facilities, requiring bulky, specialized equipment. Now that core technology is integrated into consumer devices, imagine slipping on headphones from a brand like HyperX, getting a live feed of your cognitive state. The potential here is massive. Brainwaves could become a daily metric we track, right alongside our heart rate, right alongside our sleep patterns. The core idea is simple yet revolutionary. So how exactly do these headphones pull this off?
And then I remember, like, these campaigns that are being done to get specific headphones. And then because out of the blue, people were just starting to wear headphones all of a sudden. Like, it wasn't something that people were because people had the plug-in ear pods or whatever, right? Or headphones. But then there was waves of certain celebrities having them and commercials just for these specific brands. Okay.
The magic is in a technology called electro.
And it just so happened that the number on the brand looked like a 6.
Encephalography, or EEG. It sounds complicated, but the principle is straightforward. Your brain is constantly generating tiny electrical signals as neurons communicate with each other. EEG sensors are designed to pick up these signals from the surface of your scalp. In the past, this meant wearing a cap covered in wires and gel. But the latest innovation, invisible EEG sensors, can be embedded directly into the earpads of headphones. Companies like Master and Dynamic and HyperX, in partnership with neurotech firms like Neurable, have figured out how to hide multiple highly sensitive EEG electrodes inside the plush cushions that rest against your ears. This is a game changer. You don't have to wear special gear or run a complicated setup. You just put on your headphones like you normally would, and the device starts monitoring your brain activity in the background, non-invasively. The goal?
Non-invasively. What does that mean? Deception. Okay? To deceive. Because once again, as these scenarios are unfolding, it's not going to be taught. It's not going to be discussed. And then the data is going to be in some fine contract that's 1,000 pages long that says, oh yeah, by the way, we're going to take all this data and now we're going to resell it and repackage it and make money off of your thoughts. Let's get back in here. This is back in Psalms 37 and 12. It says, the wicked plotteth against the just and gnasheth upon him with his teeth. And so the point I want to bring out is the plotted, okay? Plotted against the just, all right? Let's grab this word here.
Strong's H2161. Zamam.
It says to have a thought, devise, plan, consider, purpose. Okay. It says usually in a bad sense, consider, devise, imagine, plot, propose, to think evil. Okay. The earth has been given into the hand of the wicked to do what? To come up with these evil devices, man. To track and to monitor, okay, people. But not just people, the hopeful elect, man. That's why these lying wonders are fooling people, thinking like, oh man, life is improving. I don't have to touch my door anymore to open it. It's just all this. It's simple, man. Scripture says the simple believeth every word, but the prudent man looketh well into his goings. This is Proverbs 14 and 15. It says, the simple believeth every word, but the prudent man looketh well to his going. And none of these people are concerned because they're headlong into Esau's technology. And I remember, when these things came out, I was just like, this shit looks goofy. No offense to brothers that have them, but I was just like, man, you can lose them, you can break them. It's like, oh, now I look cool because I don't have a wire. It's like,
Make brain
oh
tracking.
yeah, and that's the reason why he wanted to get rid of the wire, because the wire in itself doesn't have Wi-Fi capability. Okay, that non-invasive couldn't be done through a wire. Okay, because the wire was plugged into the cell phone in itself, so it was harder to get to your brain. Okay, the technology couldn't be placed in the smaller device, the headphones, because the headphones were wired to the actual phone. Now you have Wi-Fi streaming the whole while from your phone to your ear. And if you think that the only thing he's doing is tracking and tracing, you don't know the devil.
As seamless as listening to your favorite playlist. Once sensors collect raw brainwave data, the real work begins.
And then he just made mention of playlists, right? So now you have playlists that have subliminal messages being fed to the brain. And then now Esau's tracking and monitoring how those signals are really affecting you, your behavior, where you're going, what you're buying.
For the gaming community, this technology is not just a cool gimmick. It's a legitimate performance-enhancing tool. Think about it. In competitive gaming, victory and defeat can be decided by milliseconds. React faster. Aim more accurately. Maintain peak focus under pressure. Brain reading heads.
And then this is what really causes seizures. Gaming. That's what causes seizures. People are looking at, all of these monitors for hours upon hours, man. This place is wicked, man. Let's go ahead and wrap up. Another article. New ear EEG earbuds monitor brain waves to combat workplace drowsiness. Oh, man. But when did this article come out? 2024. Well, AI wasn't taking over all those jobs at that time. But let's just say, like when did this become an issue? Workplace drowsiness. Like why isn't it? Oh, okay. Well, how about we give employees a break and go outside and play, a recess? Nah, just keep in your earbuds, and then we'll just continue to track and trace and monitor your thoughts. Yeah, that's the answer. Let me scroll down here. It says the electrical signals detected by the earbuds are smaller than those picked up by a traditional EEG. However, in a new study, the researchers show that their ear EEG platform is sensitive enough to detect alpha waves. Let's get into some real nerdy stuff. Okay. Alpha waves are neural oscillations between 8 and 13 hertz that represent a state of calm, relaxed alertness, typically occurring when awake with eyes closed, meditating, or daydreaming. They promote relaxation, reduce stress, enhance creativity, and improve memory by inhibiting unnecessary cortical areas. So basically your brain is chilling. Okay. It's relaxed. As a matter of fact, let's just bring this up just for edification. Let's get this one in. All right. Brainwaves, beta, alpha, delta, theta, gamma. Okay, and these are the hertz: awake, physically, mental alert, deep, dreamless sleep. Okay, reduce consciousness. Okay, heightened perception. Okay, and so all of our brains are producing these waves at different times and scenarios throughout the day. And so now, as a control method, okay, these can be traced and monitored to just like the psychological ops, right? People's waves are either increasing or decreasing, and especially watching TV. Now all of those signals are being monitored and traced, man. And they talk about for health concerns. When Esau created all of the damn problems to begin with. Ear EEG platform is sensitive enough to detect alpha waves, a pattern of brain activity that increases when you close your eyes or fall asleep. I was inspired when I bought my first pair of Apple's Airpods in 2017. I immediately thought, what an amazing platform for neural recording. What an amazing platform for neural recording. We believe that this technology has many potential uses and that classifying drowsiness is a good indicator that the technology can be used to classify sleep and even diagnose sleep disorders. And this is from UC Berkeley. Okay, this is what taxpayers' dollars are going to. Oh yeah, man, I need some earbuds so I can figure out why I'm falling asleep. Because we're in hell. Okay? Here's, I think, the other one. Well, another, right? All right, UC Berkeley. Once again, June 2021 or June 24, 2021. I mean, it's basically the same thing. I just want to see if there's anything BCI. Yeah. Communication between brain activity and computers, known as brain computer interface or BCI, has been used in clinical trials to monitor epilepsy and other brain disorders. Now, this was 2021. I think the other articles are 2024 and 2026. Okay, we might play the rest of this here in a little bit. But the point being here is epilepsy is, matter of fact, let's just look it up. See, Esau comes up. Esau comes up with all of these numbers as if it's an issue, and it's not. Look at this. 1 out of 100 people lives with active epilepsy. So it's not justified. Okay? You do not need it's crazy, man. Communication between brain activity and computers, known as brain computer interface or BCI, has been used in clinical trials to monitor epilepsy and other brain disorders. Well, we just did the search. Okay? Nobody, 0.7 of the population, 50 million people, the lifetime risk is higher, but about 126 people developing in their lifetime. Now, why? That's the question. Because there's too many damn devices everywhere, and people are glued to the damn TVs, which are producing in games. Esau is the problem. He's also the reaction. He's also the solution, which is also the problem. Yeah, I'm done with that part. It's just crazy, like seeing. All right, this is the last thing. Through the spirit, a wearable. This is back in 2019, I believe. 2019. Okay, a wearable in-ear EEG device for emotion monitoring. For future healthcare applications, which are increasingly moving towards out-of-hospital or home-based caring models, the ability to remotely and continuously monitor patients' conditions effectively are imperative. See, even in 2019, they knew that all of the inpatient diagnoses were not going to be the same. Right before the scamdemic, okay? It says, among others, emotional state is one of the conditions that could be of interest to doctors or caregivers. This paper discusses a preliminary study to develop a wearable device that is low cost. And see, that's what I'm saying. All the solutions are, you got to put this in you. You got to put this in you. You got to put this on. That's his technology merging with human life, and the definition of that is transhumanism. Okay? Esau's using his miracles, his technology, his lying wonders to now deceive the people to wear or have something to that's artificial instead of what Yahweh B'Shemi Yahushua has given us, which is all natural or spiritual. Among others, emotional state is one of the conditions that could be of interest to doctors or caregivers. This paper discusses a preliminary study to develop a wearable device that is low cost, single channel, dry contact, in-ear EEG suitable for non-intrusive monitoring. All aspects of the design, engineering, and experimenting by applying machine learning, AI, for emotion classification are covered based on the valency or the valence and arousal emotion model. The device is able to classify basic emotion with 71% accuracy, 72% accuracy on arousal, and 53% all four emotions. What's all four emotions? Happiness, sadness, fear, and anger. Okay. The results are comparable to those measured from the more conventional EEG headsets. And so, like I said, these articles, I mean, you can read for days on this stuff. I didn't want it to be too long, but just wanted to cover that through the spirit because this is what Esau does. Okay. This is Psalm 73 and 8. They are corrupt. They speak wickedly concerning oppression. They speak loftily. Okay? Because this is oppression. Scripture says, surely oppression maketh the wise man mad. Okay? Oppression, extortion. Okay? What's being extorted? What's the practice of obtaining? Oh man, come on. Call Allah Yahweh Shemi Rashad. The practice of obtaining something, especially money, through force or threats. Now, what is Esau obtaining? No, it's not physical money. It's your thoughts. But thoughts bring ideas, and ideas produce forms of money. When scriptures talk about, the depths of the riches of Yahweh Shemi Rashad is through that knowledge, okay, that we are rich. Okay? And knowledge, wisdom, and understanding, which is rich as in value, which is money is one of those forms of value. And it says through force or threats. And the force or threats is through his propaganda. That's extortion. Okay? Oppression. Because now you get peer pressure, you get people at work. Oh man, you don't have the latest XYZ, whatever. Oppression, extortion, gain by extortion, okay? Fraud, unjust gain, okay? Deceitfully gotten. That's oppression. It says they are corrupt and speak wickedly concerning oppression. They speak lawfully. And these are all the forms of Esau speaking wickedly, man. You know? Oh yeah, man, check out these new Airpods. Yeah, well, what do they do? Oh man, you don't have to have wires anymore. Like, oh, okay. Look. But they don't tell you, oh yeah, that's right. We're gonna track and monitor your joy, your thoughts. And then they're going to repackage it and sell it to you like, see, look, you could be a better marksman when you play video games. Stupid ass shit.
Sets offer a direct path to improving these skills by giving players unprecedented insight into their mental state during gameplay. It's like having a cognitive coach whispering in your ear, telling you when your focus is sharp and when it's starting to drift. The proof is in the numbers. Preliminary studies with Neurable's platform showed measurable improvements for casual and pro players. Everyday gamers, reaction times improved by 43 milliseconds.
So that's the reason why Esau needed to do this.
By 2026, we are seeing the beginning of a major trend where brain wearables are joining the suite of biosignals we track daily. The goal is to create a comprehensive dashboard for your well-being, with your brain's health and performance as a central component. Imagine a world where your headphones can detect when you're entering a state of deep focus.
And what would that do? Oh, I got a deep focus. See? This place has got to go, man. It just has to be torched. This is Psalms 140 and 8. It says, grant not, O Yahweh, the desires of the wicked. Further not his wicked device, lest they exalt themselves. You know? And that's what's happening, man. Esau is trying to exalt himself by putting all of these gifts in people's minds and thoughts and ideas. And it's just wickedness overall, man, because this place is polluted. And these are just forms of it. Although it may not look like it to the naked eye, the spiritual eye sees that all of these devices are really just ushering people to the M-O to the T to the B. Now, that's fulfilling prophecy. So we're excited about that, but this place is still wicked as hell. So just wanted to go into more of Satan's devices. Lord will, this is edifying for the elect. Until next time, shalom.